Welcome to the Sports Arena, your front row ticket to the best in sports talk and entertainment. Great analysis, top name guests, and news you can use from the sports landscape. So take your seats, sit back, and relax, as you are now in the Sports Arena.
You know what you're capable of. Fix it.
And here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Wins. I'm like, all right, let's go. We get losses. I'm like, I need a minute. Let me collect myself. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Sports Arena. Of course, I'm your man, Eric Wilson, here on a Saturday for you. So, as I do to start all my shows each and every Saturday, we need justice for Breonna Taylor. We need justice for Elijah McClain. And we need justice for Vanessa Gilliam. Well, let's get down to business, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I have the pleasure of welcoming Mr. Bryan Veith. He is the CEO of Veith Solutions and Veith Engineering, and Business Solutions. Bryan, good morning and welcome to the Sports Arena, sir. How are you?
Good morning. Very happy to be on the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I really appreciate your time today. Also, got to take a moment and recognize and thank our mutual colleague, Miss Allison Emery from Grapevine Communications, for setting this up for us. I really appreciate Allison and all that she does behind the scenes. Actually, there's an article in her in Lakewood Ranch, I believe Alliance, that people need to go check out. So, Bryan, you have done something very unique, especially here in the Florida area. With COVID going on, you have introduced the ultimate golf experience. Before we get to that, I'd like to take a moment and just have you talk to my listeners and our viewers here today on the Sports Arena about, just yourself, your business, and more importantly, your love for golf.
Yeah. And well, first, God and very religious and then family are very important. But after that, I would say engineering, passion for that, the Gators, and golf are the three top things. So I'm a big sports person. Appreciate you having a show and sharing information like that. This is great for the listeners. Golf is one I learned from when I was 8 years old, when we were looking for some baseball equipment in a sports shop, and my dad saw the golf clubs and he saw the eyes light up and that I was like excited about it. So he bought me the golf clubs, and my grandfather belonged at Inverness in Toledo, which is a long history of great sporting events, U.S. Open, and he's the one that got me the lessons. So those two together really is what got me into the game. So I've been doing it since I was 8 years old and love junior golf. And so I've continued to support that. I feel very important that that's a good part of our youth to get involved in.
And I see here, you have done some great work, you and your son Logan, on the web.com tour. What was that like to share the experience such as this with, your son, future generations of golfers?
Getting behind the ropes and carrying it's called the standard bearer when you carry the sign. So 2 years ago, we did it for the web.com. And then last year, it changed the Corn Ferry. So my son did it with me a couple times, and I brought another junior friend of his. And it was really good for them to see the composure, not just the physical side, but the mental side, but nutrition too, which was really important. I think my son got a really good understanding of being hydrated. If you saw in that picture there, the banana. So they were very structured around about every third hole. They'd have a protein bar and making sure that they had that positive energy and going through. So that was a great experience, great run tournament. And so we continue to support that here in Lakewood Ranch.
Nice. So again, speaking with Mr. Bryan Veith, the CEO, the founder of the Ultimate Golf Experience, this is something that you created, and I believe it just finished up about a week ago. If I'm not mistaken, you did in fact crown a champion?
So we actually had our kickoff event to kind of unveil this. And I'm an engineer, so I'm creative. I'm always thinking about automation and how I can help my clients. And during COVID, when there's times, you're at home and working from home, and there's other times we just have time to think. And I just realized how COVID has impacted our youth. And it's been hard to understand even as adults sometimes, but how do you expect a 10-year-old or 12 or 14-year-old that said they can't go out and play, that they've got to be in the house, right?
Wow.
And so for the mental health and the well-being, trying to get kids to get out and do stuff that's safe, but yet they can get out, they get the sunshine, they get that energy, and they do something fun. So I started thinking, what could I do in that space? What could I do? And I started thinking about, well, I'm going to create this experience during a time when there's COVID. So I thought about all the ways I could do it safely, but yet do things that would get them out, have competition. And then in some cases, the NCAA has restricted recruiting during this time. And so these kids that are the student athletes, the sophomores, juniors, seniors, have not been able to get the looks that they really deserve. And so I said, well, how can I do that within what NCAA guidelines are allowing? So the coaches can't go out and see the players, and you can't do the visits. Some of that's starting to lift. But so I said, well, I can get live scoring, which helps on the safety part of it. Grandparents or people with health issues that can't come out and watch their kids, I partnered with Leaderboard King. And so we have live scoring and a leaderboard, so coaches can watch that, parents can watch that. And then I also upped it a level in getting video and pictures, because coaches can get emails and see that. And so for them to see a kid make a par in live scoring, it's good, but to see that he made that par under adversity and difficult conditions, and we have it filmed and videoed, it's just that another level of seeing the composure and how the player acts. So those are just a couple examples of things that I wanted to do. The CDC and the USGA have developed COVID rules, but I stepped it up a notch just to want to make sure my wife recovering from cancer, me with asthma, son with asthma, I know that those are risk factors. So I want to make sure others that have that, to make sure we're safe. And so safe distancing is important, but I got this large TV. And so when players come in, everything's done electronic. There's no exchanging of scorecards. When they get in, one at a time comes up away from us, and everything's transparent too. I mean, everything's there live. We go through the scoring. If it's good, they sign the hard copy and they text it to me. So it's all, so I try to think of automation, electronic, to keep us safe, but still keep the competitive nature and the integrity of the game in place.
Yeah. I mean, and that's huge. The fact that you were able to, look at it from different perspectives and, putting yourself in that situation, saying, okay, I want to make sure that, like you said, the competitiveness is still there, but you are following not only the CDC rules and guidelines, but taking it to that next level and ensuring that everybody has an opportunity to be a part of this experience. This is phenomenal. I want to show the interview that you did do with SNN, and just kind of explaining to our viewers here on the Sports Arena kind of what happened and what was going on. So I want everybody to take a video with this, and we'll be right back with Mr. Bryan Veith, CEO, creator, founder of the Ultimate Golf Experience.
Yeah. These guys are not only good golfers, but they're student athletes, and they're great young men, very respectful. And I felt bad how everything's impacted them. Some of these are juniors that are trying to get into college scholarship, and they lost about 4 or 5 months. And so I wanted to find a way to do it safe with COVID going on and under certain rules, but still make it competitive. And college coaches are telling me that stroke play and match play are both very important. So I kind of created a combo event, and I invited the top 30 high school golfers from Tampa Bay area down to Naples in Region 3. And so we started it off with stroke play qualifier at Heritage Oaks, cut it to 16, the Sweet 16. We played yesterday at Palmer, got it down to the Final Four today. So we'll have the semifinals here at Laurel Oak. So I appreciate Laurel Oak, Palmer, and Heritage Oaks being host. And then the last 9 hole will be match play for the finals. So we'll crown a champion. And then we have the consolation bracket, so those kids are still involved, so they have a chance to play for something.
Well, very impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that is huge. And I have to ask you, Bryan, how were you able to get these golf courses to buy into this?
And that's important, because when the Ultimate Golf Experience is about getting on courses that have a certain distance, a certain challenges, golf coaches and others look at certain yardages. And there's a lot of factors in for them to really say, okay, this is someone that's scoring well and they're doing it under certain conditions. So there's like 4 or 5 things that I had to make sure worked. So these 3 clubs, I want to give them props: Laurel Oak, Heritage Oaks, and Palmer. They're all private. And so I met with them virtually. I then went out there and we had a mask on and we scoped out how we would set up. I gave my safety rules. I wanted to make sure that they felt comfortable that by allowing us in there, that we were doing things as safely as possible. We didn't want to do anything to jeopardize the members or the staff. So we're very cognizant of they're letting us go to their venue and that's a treat, right? So we got to respect that, and I made sure that was conveyed to the parents and players. So I give them huge props for allowing us to get on the stage of those venues. It was great.
Yeah. And that is huge. Like I said, the buy-in from all three golf courses to be able to put something of this magnitude on, making sure that these young athletes have an opportunity to be seen and possibly scouted and be able to move on to the PGA Tour. This is amazing. And again, as you and I have spoke, I like to work with organizations that do that. I work with one on the football level, and now, again, thanks to our friend Allison being connected to you, this is just speaking to leaders such as yourself, creating legacies for future generations and giving them that opportunity that even through everything that's going on, simply giving them the chance to go out and do what they love to do. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead, Bryan, go ahead.
I was just saying one other thing. The other thing that took a little bit more effort, but I probably could have done it on one course. But the other thing is by picking 3 courses, and again, that was very, very happy they were able to do that. They're all different layouts. They go to the strengths of different players. So I knew whoever won that to play a tighter and shorter course, a longer, more wide open, and then a combination really was a testimony that when they got through the stroke play and the match play, that showed that they really earned it. And again, these are student athletes, and they're good kids. They're not just good golfers. And those are the types that are going to be the future leaders. So I want to make sure they get the opportunity.
Yeah, and I definitely want to get more into that. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bryan Veith, CEO, Veith Engineering and Business Solutions, and the creator of the Ultimate Golf Experience, your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. We'll be back in just a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena, here with, of course, like I said, Mr. Bryan Veith, creator of the Ultimate Golf Experience. So, Bryan, you were speaking about the student athletes, these young men, great kids. I have to ask you, when you were making your choice as far as who to allow into this type of unique situation, what were some of the key traits that you were looking for as far as inviting them to the Ultimate Golf Experience?
Right. So the first one, as I mentioned, was is an invitational, and that was to kick things off. And we picked the top 30 golfers from Naples, the southern tip of Florida, until Tampa area. And because of the situation we're in, and we had to really expect the golf courses, respect the safety rules. I needed kids that are not only good golfers, but those that were going to be good sportsmanship and respect the authority of the course and the volunteers. So, I did look at obviously golfing skills, but I wanted to make sure there was that alignment too, because this is something that was special. We're having a unique opportunity to do it at these courses. And so we've got very good feedback from all 3 courses that things went very, very smoothly, and they'd like to do it again.
That's amazing. That's great. So also playing with effort, playing with that positive attitude. Again, we have seen so much, even on social media and just in our daily lives, like COVID has really kind of attacked us as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
How was that, how were you able to make sure that, again, everything went off? You're dealing with 3 different courses, you're dealing with volunteers, you're dealing with student athletes, and then on top of all of that, you also have to deal with the CDC guidelines because of the coronavirus. I mean,
right.
You got to talk to me. What's your secret sauce on that one? Because that's a hefty weight to carry.
Well, I am an engineer, and
okay.
so I'm a little detail oriented, and very much a planner. because in engineering, safety is so important when you design something to make sure you got all your ducks in a row. So I kind of follow some of the things from engineering and apply it to golf, I would say. And then my volunteers, getting the volunteers, my wife, and some of the other parents and others that supported, you need a good team, right? Without a good team, you can't pull it off. So from people on the course, they were helping. Mark Bruce was helping as a rules official. Don Tracy making sure they're monitoring play. To Jill helping set up the course. I had a really, really good team. There's no I in team, right? So to pull this off, it really was a complete team effort. And I want the viewers to know that. And the kids, I think, saw that there was a team. Rick from Leaderboard King personally came down from Jacksonville to make sure that the live scoring and leaderboard was working seamlessly. And actually, the kids had a couple suggestions after day 2, and they implemented it in the code that night so that it was that extra special ultimate experience for Sunday. So it all went smoothly, but it took people behind the scenes, and then Stansel Entertainment that videoed it. They're top notch, and the quality of what they put together, as you saw from some of the footage of the 30-minute, we were able to air that. And then our sponsors believed in it, and they helped us air it on SNN TV for 4 different shows. So there's a lot of people that helped make this happen.
Right. So Bryan, I got to ask you, like, what's next? Because I know this is not just a one and done. So I have to know what's going on down the road here.
So that was for the boys, right? And so I'm talking to some of the girls. They were really intrigued about match play. Match play is it's a little different than stroke play, and a lot of the colleges are moving towards that for certain events in their championships. So I'm actually creating the same experience at the prestigious Longboat Key in September with the top 16 girls from Naples to Tampa, and it'll be 2 days, and we're going to film that. So they're going to get to showcase their talents. I didn't want to leave them out. And then those kind of kick off the tour, and then there'll be a Tampa league and a Sarasota league. And then again, I promote team. I promote golf as an individual sport, but you can also make it a team sport. So when the Tampa League is done in December and the Sarasota League is done, the all-stars from that will get rewarded by going to Stream Song in next April, and we'll have that filmed. It'll be like the Ryder Cup. So if you're familiar with the Ryder Cup, the Walker Cup, so those all-stars, I'll set the format, but again, I want leadership and I want to promote them being that student athlete. So their peers will pick one player from the Tampa team and the Sarasota team, and they will strategize and set the pairings. I'll set the format, but just like there's a Ryder Cup captain, I want them to be with their peers and develop strategy and leadership. So it isn't just about golf, but it's about that part of camaraderie and thinking through that. And I've talked to some, and they're excited, hopefully, that they're the captain of the team to be able to think through that. So that'll be a team match play event in over 2 days at Stream Song, which is one of the best courses in the country. It's in the top 25, I think, in the U.S.
Wow, that's going to be huge. So, I mean, I have to ask you, being that you're setting this up, are you hoping for the Sarasota team to win, or are you vying for the Tampa? I mean, where are you falling here?
No, I would want the best team to win. I just want to have a good competition. I'd love it to be close, right down to the wire, which the match play event was. Yes, my son will be playing on the Sarasota team, but I feel like my son lost in the semifinals, but he didn't lose. I told him the other kid, which was his friend, made eagle birdie, and he made birdie par. So I said, I was, when my son lost, yes, disappointed, but I was happy to see the other kid, which I know and is a friend of ours. He earned it, right? He made eagle birdie. I mean, how good is that? So I just want to see a good, fair competition, and then I'll be happy.
As someone who loves the game but is horrible at it, trust me, the day I make eagle, I may do cartwheels, backflips, and jump into the pond if there's one. And I might quit after that. I forget about. I mean, listen,
you're going to end on a high note, right?
Exactly. Either a hole in one or an eagle. After that, I'm hanging up my clubs. I'm done. I don't need nothing else. I'm like, yes, my last shot was an eagle. I'm good. Thank you. I do not need to have that happen. So, Bryan, let's talk about some of the other stuff that you do, because as you said, you know, your core beliefs that you have, you know, your belief in God, family, you are a very giving individual and a leader in this community. Can you just talk about Play for Pink? And what started you along that line, and just talk about that organization.
So yeah, actually, the Ultimate Golf Experience is not just about juniors, but it'll provide family events and charity events. Family getting that parent or grandparents. So we're going to have some parent-child events to get that bond. And then my wife went through a very tough experience with breast cancer. Started in 2014, and I knew about cancer and always, was like worried about what it was. But seeing someone go through it and what she went through and how strong she was, it was tough on her and the kids. And so I wanted to partner with her to create something that didn't exist here and have a charity event. So we actually created a golf tournament and then a comedy night. So we actually pulled in both because some people don't play golf but wanted to be involved. So we got a pretty reputable comedian and we sold that out. This is before COVID hit. So this was last fall and the fall before. So we had like 120 people in there for that. And then the golf tournament I wanted to make special too. So a lot of the same creative stuff I'm doing with these junior events. I wanted the sponsors and the players to get a great experience while on the other hand, they're raising money. So we raised over $25,000 each of our first 2 years and we're sold out. So I'm very blessed to the people that supported it. And it went to the Breast Cancer Research Foundation, which is the #1 research foundation that Play for Pink partners with. So Play for Pink basically does sporting type events, tennis, golf. They're an organization that promotes raising it through those type of efforts. Although I added in the comedy night because I thought that was a good ad for it.
Of course.
So I just feel like where I work with engineering and business and other things, I feel like this is the community I live in. And I want to help that community out where I work. So I play here, I work here, and I live here. That's just kind of how I view it.
And the best thing about that is, Bryan, you may not be from here, excuse me, but where you live, where you work, where you play, you are creating something that is going to sustain time, and being able to create something like that, that's what I think is key for, cities like Lakewood Ranch, Sarasota area, to be able to have those things that someone takes a simple thought, turns it into the ultimate golf experience. And this is something that's going to be transcended because, this is something that I'm sure you and Logan can talk about in the future as far as continuing on and having the support and the backing of the sponsors of the golf clubs. That's huge. And that's something that I think we sometimes get away from within our daily routine. And I'm so thankful that, again, you and I were able to partner up and have this conversation because, like I said, I'm not the best golfer in the world, but I love the game. But the fact that there is something out there that someone has said, I am going to be the pioneer, if you will, and create this so that it has a lasting impact, it speaks volumes. Bryan, I cannot thank you enough for today. Thank you so much for joining me here on the Sports Arena. I really appreciate it. I look forward to the girls tournament coming up. I look forward to the Junior Ryder Cup. I mean, I don't know if we can call it that. I might get.
I'm calling it the UGE Cup.
Okay, there you go. The UGE Cup between Sarasota and Tampa. I look forward to having you back on the show. Please, let's connect in other ways as well because I want to stay a part of this and I want to see how far this thing goes.
I appreciate and I'm honored to be on your show and for you to be able to get some of this information out for the helpful of our parents that are looking for things to develop their youth in both sports and leadership. So I appreciate your support and having me on.
No worries. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Bryan Veith, he is the CEO of Veith Engineering and Business Solution and the creator of the Ultimate Golf Experience. Make sure you check this man out. I'm going to make sure I have all his social media stuff posted on all of my social media so you can follow him. You can check this out and get involved. Because at the end of the day, that's what it is. It's creating these moments. It's cherishing these moments that we have with family that are so much more important and that are going to last a lifetime and generations. Your man, Eric Wilson, Sports Arena. Happy Saturday to everybody. I will talk to you guys soon. Have a great day. See ya.
Thank you.